This episode of High Guardian Spice is a waste of time. That's not a joke. Episode 10, Rainy Day Memories, is a filler episode. Like literally. If you only care about the plot of High Guardian Spice... If you care about the plot of High Guardian Spice, you can skip this episode entirely and you will miss nothing of the overall narrative. I want you to keep this in mind. This story was more important than fleshing out what new magic is, and the whole old magic versus new magic debate. It was more important than exploring and defining Sage's romantic interests, or Snapdragon's identity, more important than spending time in Pebble, which gets mentioned more than a few times, and this episode was more important than defining what a Guardian actually does. Rainy Day Memories is divided into two subplots, neither of which are very good, but for entirely different reasons. We have Sage and Snapdragon trying to build a friendship or a romance. The show as a whole is very unclear, with this making Rosemary very, very sad. Meanwhile, Time and Parsley are in the rain fighting a demon. I'm gonna start with the latter plot because this is just the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life. First of all, that's the best design you can come up with for a demon. I'm not asking for a pit fiend or a balrog, but that's the goddamn cutest demon I've ever seen in my life. He looks like he wants a hug. And keep in mind, this demon is portrayed as a threat, one of the more powerful foes that the characters have fought throughout the entire series. But that goddamn smile, he's having a good day, I'm having a good day. Anyway, Time spends the episode trying to summon this demon, because she's a genius.
I create the salt circle. I stand in it to cast the spell, which summons the demon. I give him something precious. He opens a window for me to speak with my dad. I tell Dad about the healing waters.
Where do I even begin? First of all,
which summons the demon.
That's a Pokeball sound. I was kinda mentioning that, but after the parasex, that's a fucking Pokeball. But, Time, let's really talk here. So, your plan. A plan that you think is important enough to summon a demon. You're gonna tell your father about the healing water, the water that was destroyed in the last episode. You're gonna tell him that the water can heal a tree, the water that everyone who has been through High Guardian Academy knows about. What exactly are you planning on getting out of this?
He uses his knowledge to replicate the formula. We save the fairy woods.
Oh, okay. Could you imagine if this plan actually worked? Yeah, father, these waters can heal the rot. Okay, daughter, describe the water to me. Well, it's water, and it heals things. Daughter, can you describe anything else about it? Yeah, it's water, and it heals things. Anything else? It glows. It made a dragon explode into stars once. This show is really stupid. In the last episode, Time was considering leaving to go back to the fairy woods, but without the healing water anymore, she decided that there was no point. Why can't she just go there, on foot, now? She already snuck away from the school, that's the hard part. What is the point of the demon phone? This is even ignoring a minor little detail. One of your fucking teachers is a demon. I called her a succubus back in episode 2, but no, officially she's a demon. Why not go to her? Yeah, I get it. Summoning a demon is unethical. That's why your ethics teacher is a demon. Did I mention the show is really stupid? Surprise, surprise. The stupid idea was stupid.
I will feast on your bones!
What is this, a fairy tale?
I'm terrible at magic. We have no time for low self-esteem.
My favorite part of The Lord of the Rings is when Aragorn told the panicking soldiers, "This is no time for low self-esteem." It really made me feel like he was appropriate for the throne of Numenor. Honestly, if there is any value at all to the subplot, it's the backstory. We see Time in her childhood, I guess, and it is literally the first moment in the entire series that goes, oh shit, this character needs a personality!
See what? You water the plant, I get it. Let's get to the field archery course before it closes.
Honestly, seeing the kind of kid that Time was is endearing. Much more endearing than the stoic elf with stupid idea after stupid idea that we got. And yeah, I know what they were going for. Time has had a hard life. She's separated from everything that she knows and loves, and her home is being destroyed and there's nothing she can do about it. She's disaffected. This is not the correct way to write a disaffected character. It might have worked better if we got some insight into this in episode 1 or 2 instead of 10, but really, it feels like we're putting a band-aid on a larger wound here. Honestly, this over-eager character is kinda refreshing. I know that we already have Rosemary, and this might mean we would have had 2 Rosemarys, but honestly, I'd prefer that over how boring and bland Time has been written so far. The only time that she stands out is when she says the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Why should I believe a demon?
I don't know, why the fuck did you summon one? I mean, you apparently trust a demon enough to actually phone call your father and not some illusionary version of him. Our A plot at least is more intricate. it has more moving parts. After our last episode, Rosemary and Sage are not on good terms. The same can be said with Amaryllis and Snapdragon. So, Sage and Snapdragon meet each other and talk, and talk, and talk, and talk. And considering that this is High Guardian Spice, I'm sure you are just waiting with bated breath to hear this dialogue.
Don't you have a lot of feelings about Amaryllis?
No, we've got more of a father-daughter relationship.
Excuse me, what?
We've got more of a father-daughter relationship.
That does not answer my question. What the fuck did you mean that you have a father-daughter relationship with Amaryllis? I either really, really want to know what you mean by that, or I really, really don't want to know. And I'm scared, but I have to know which one of the two it is. This is the worst line of dialogue of all time. Oh my god, you actually did it. Here's a trophy. Give him a round of applause, everybody.
Could you maybe have a crush on Rosemary?
What? Of course I don't! We're just really good friends.
Speaking as someone who doesn't get romance, is there any real reason that Sage couldn't admit that she has a crush on Rosemary here? She's talking to a presumed friend alone in confidence. Or is it that we as an audience are supposed to not believe her when she says that she doesn't have a crush on Rosemary? Meanwhile, Rosemary and Amaryllis both get jealous that they're quote-unquote, let's get some air quotes on the screen, bigger, use the biggest font we have. Rosemary and Amaryllis are both jealous that their friends are hanging out with each other instead of them. So Amaryllis gets the idea to use a memory spell to get revenge. But Rosemary gets, guilty or something, and she blocks it, and both of them end up getting hit by the spell. So the point of the spell is to make their worst memories come to life. Worst memories is literally stated within the episode. If one of the worst things that ever happened to you is you Charlie Browning yourself in a game of kickball, you have had a very privileged life. That's like a 1.5 on the embarrassment scale. I get that they're teenagers, and teenagers tend to blow minuscule things like this out of the water, but even a teenager, I'd imagine, would have more serious concerns than wearing a mop on their head for a week. Also, Rosemary seems more nostalgic than upset over her quote-unquote worst memory. To be as honest as I can, despite this being a filler episode, it actually tries to do a lot of heavy lifting. Like before at times past in her relationship with her father, here we're going on about Rosemary talking about her relationship with Sage. Simply, it's a case of show don't tell. Why didn't we get moments like this animated in previous episodes? Seriously, this alone would have improved the show so much. It feels very much like this episode in particular does realize the problems that the previous ones have had, and it's trying to do its damnedest to course correct. But it's doing that by putting literally all of the relationship in this one episode. This is the only one of the 12 episodes that goes into the history of Sage and Rosemary, our main characters' best friends. We were denied an episode of these kinds of shenanigans. Seriously, why couldn't this episode be cut, and instead us be given a full episode of Rosemary and Sage living in Pebble, preparing to go to the academy? What more can I even say about this episode at this point?
This was a waste of time.
Yeah, took the words right out of my mouth. What's next on the docket?
It was just a costume. I know I'm not a mermaid.
No, but you loved dressing like one, didn't you?
Oh fuck!